Do you think the world owes Kyrie an apology after, having this amazing season and after a lot of things were, brought to light?
Yeah,
I would say, as far as the vaccine situation. How you feel about that?
And I'm glad Stephen A. started on your show. Go watch the episode. When everyone was demonizing him about the vaccine choices, and because Pfizer was the number one sponsor of a lot of networks, I get why, but they ruined that man's career, partially his perception. I said it on Monday. The Brooklyn Nets mismanaged what they should have done well with him and tried to make that team in that situation work. Now he could be going to go get MVP. So yeah, I think the world owes him an apology. He's not a good teammate, good leader. I know they tried to make a world about the flat earth thing. That's like, man, he's busting his ass every season, every year. He's become a better teammate, better scorer. Man, give him an apology. And I hope he wins MVP. I really do. And I'm going to be honest, as great as Luka is, Luka would not be able to be this great without Kyrie. Let's be honest about it. I know he's the new great white hope. Shout to Luka, shout to Mark Cuban. But without Kyrie there, man, it makes his job a lot easier.
No, for sure. 100%. Yeah, shout out to Kyrie. I think a lot of people owe him an apology that threw him under the bus. And it was good to see Stephen A. on the show. I know he got a lot of feedback from some of the clips that we posted, but if you watch the full episode, he talked about how he realized he was wrong. As far as, especially when it came to his dad, he spoke to his father.
Yeah.
They have a cordial relationship now. And, so I think that Kyrie is one of these people that, is misunderstood a lot. And now he's just in a vibe where he's just focused on his craft. But, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So
absolutely,
you don't have to believe in what he believed in, but at least you got to give him credit for not, taking a knee, because he lost a lot of money, right?
Absolutely.
Risked his career, did all kinds of stuff that he felt.
His mental health greatly.
But the bogus thing about that vaccine situation was that he wasn't the only one that didn't take the vaccine, right?
He was just most vocal about it.
Yeah, well, because it's like, the media just picks and choose who they wants to highlight.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was like, what's my man that was in DC? He's on Phoenix now. But at the time he was on the Wizards, and he wasn't vaccinated, but DC didn't have the mandate that you had to be vaccinated.
Gotcha.
And the weird thing about New York state law was that if you was a worker in New York, Bradley Bill, shout out to Bradley Bill.
Bradley Bill.
If you was a worker in New York, you had to be vaccinated to work at your work. That's why Kyrie couldn't play in New York.
Yeah. But
if you were an out-of-state worker and you were traveling to New York, then you didn't have to be vaccinated. So when Bradley Bill wasn't vaccinated, he was coming to New York playing, and it wasn't a problem. Kyrie wasn't vaccinated. He couldn't play in New York, but he could play in like Atlanta, Texas, all the states that were not mandated. He couldn't play in California. He couldn't play in New York. But that was just a weird time. That whole COVID thing was just really weird. And then it's like at some point in time, like we got to have a real conversation. Like what happened to COVID, right? Like I don't want to be disrespectful because I know a lot of people passed away. I know people that passed away, right?
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that at some point in time, COVID was on the news for 24 hours, and then I didn't hear anything about it anymore. And then there was a second wave, and then
because you got to exempt it now. We're gonna have an honest conversation. It was a great rollout. The fucking bird flu thing was a lie. I didn't go on to be a medical doctor, but at one point I wanted to be pre-med, right? You can't eat bat soup and then get on a plane and transmit a respiratory virus to the entire world. This is not Outbreak Generation Z Resident Evil 4. Cool. That shit got sold and they put it out into the ether, and here we are, and they made billions off of it, and then it went away, and now y'all got Ozempic.
Ozempic. Yeah, it was crazy times, man. That was crazy times that we were in. All right.
Well, some of y'all won't even make wine and drink it after 3 months, but a vaccine came out after 3 months and said you needed to get 2 doses of it.
And they kept changing the goalpost. It was like you gotta be vaccinated. Then it was like you gotta have the booster shot. Then it was like you got to have the booster shot, the vaccination, then something else. Then it was like you had to have a vaccine card. Then it was just so many different rules,
Too
and
much.
then it was just so hard to keep up with. And then it just stopped. Now we're back.
I haven't heard from Fauci since. Dr. Fauci, if you're available, I love you.
Where is Fauci? We need to get him on Blackout. Where's
on Island Boy? Yeah, Island Boy. Is he trying? He did what he was supposed to do.
Where is Fauci at? Bro he hasn't shown his face since. Is he still working? Is he still working?
Island Boy. He done. He did what he was supposed to do. And I get it, at the time of the crisis, you aren't prepared. There were people who were saying that this is one of our potential threats for our country. Gates also said in that TED talk a few years prior that this could happen. Okay. But be very careful, like when these kind of epidemics and pandemics happen all of a sudden, then they rush to a cure and it hasn't been tested. Like, come on, man. But kudos to Kyrie. He is owed the biggest apology. I hope he wins finals MVP this year.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers actually lied about getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
Right. And so it wasn't like he was the only, but for some reason, the media, they just made Kyrie like the poster child for like the anti-vax movement. But hey, he's back. And shout out to Kai, man. So yeah, I think everybody that blatantly disrespected him over the years,
apology.
I definitely owe him an apology for a variety of different things that they criticized him for.